Oreo Express, where truth don't hide and we don't second guess. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud, shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo Express, rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express, let's roll, let's go. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express.
Celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7. I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.
That's right, folks. Order now. Welcome back. Josh here, Oreo Express. Hope you're having a fabulous Wednesday, November 5th, guys. November 5th. We got a lot to talk about before we get into it. Don't forget, Christmas is coming up. You got some holiday presents to give. Support an America First company, a company that aligns with our values, with mypillow.com. Make sure you use promo code Oreo. Use promo code Oreo. You help us out here at the platform, and we thank you for that. So welcome back, guys. Welcome back. And I'm going to tell you, the show's going to be a little off right now. We are using our new computer, but we don't have everything we need yet. Rachel's actually dropping Caden off at school and seeing if she could get one more cord. I mean, we're going to get by. We're going to get by, but I don't see a whole lot of stuff I normally see. And it's frustrating because this cord I've had before. I'm using my same monitors, but then I have my portable monitor, and I can't get it to go because I don't have the cord. And I have every cord you could think of from all the traveling we do, from when we do live streams on the show. And for some reason, I can't find this one. And I looked online, and Best Buy absolutely sucks. They have nothing in stock. So she's going to run by Walmart and see if we could get the HDMI, the mini HDMI to male USB cable. And hopefully by show 2, I have everything temporary setup, but it'll work for our show. So I am blessed to have this. Let me tell you, you guys are going to see a little difference today. On the reaction time, the buffering's gone. So we'll get into that. But welcome back. We have Darla Miller, it looks like. Let's see. For God, prayers, and country. Amen. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened last night. And I don't think any of us were shocked. I know Democrats are using this as, it was a blue wave. And I'm like, really? I mean, some of the Republicans in this race weren't even polling above 30%, the entire race. Virginia's a good example. I'm not bashing the Republican candidate, but she didn't articulate her words very well. She probably would have done a phenomenal job. And then you just go into other places, and it was definitely not a referendum on Trump. I don't think this shows anything. I think, and we're going to get into it, we're going to talk about some things that were said yesterday. We even got Chuck Schumer last night not admitting to who he voted for in the New York City mayoral race. That's kind of interesting. I think that should be used against him. We're going to be pushing that out there and trying to get the far left to go after him. But you also had Senator Mark Wayne Mullins, who we covered Monday. It happened over the weekend. I think we might have covered it on Friday afternoon or Friday. But he says Democrats are holding off on opening the government until after Election Day. And because if they open up the government, they're far left based. There's a good percentage of them that won't come out. Oh, I'm getting my EBT. I'm getting my food stamps. And they're just not going to show up. They need them fired up. And we got more proof of that today with a letter sent to from Chuck Schumer, and even Democrats interrupting Mike Johnson. Speaker Mike Johnson says, when are you going to meet with us? You can't make this stuff up. It goes to show you, we called it. We talked about it on here. And so we're going to get into that. And then we're also going to get into, I haven't listened to all of it. I'll probably listen to a good portion of this. I didn't have time this morning because it's going on right now. I was setting up some of the system here and also getting the show prepped. But we have the Supreme Court hearing arguments on Trump's tariffs. And boy, I'm not happy about what I'm hearing. We even got Neil Gorsuch talking about climate change. And I'm like, but we're going to play some of the audio that we do have. We're going to go through that, but first we're going to go through some of the stuff that was being said by the talking heads last night and some other stuff. So once again, thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate you. We can't do it without you. Don't forget, today is raffle day. So if you have donated to the Oreo Express, if you've donated to us to help us pay the bills, keep the lights on, data, all the good stuff, upgrades, you did $10, you were entered into a raffle. And if you did $30, you would get 3 entries. Every $10 donation got you an entry. And here's what it's for. So in the next show will be the raffle. So if you're going to get in, today's the day, guys. This beautiful cross made by Big Mike. You guys seen Big Mike last night. If you missed it, we were outside one of the polling locations in Clovis with a bunch of great patriots, along with Ben Berquam was out here in Fresno area, Clovis. And so we were out there. Big Mike showed up. But this cross and a light up, either we got the Trump one right here. This is mine that I was wearing last night. It looked good. And then I have this one on the charger right now, MAGA. So you get to choose from either hat, and you get a cross right there, that cross that was donated to us. So if you guys want to get in, every $10 donation gets you 1 entry. You can do Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $Oreo Army, GiveSendGo.com/Oreo 2024. And if you use Zelle, we have our Zelle link, which is purepatriot559@yahoo.com. That's the Zelle address. So you could do, if you do mobile or online banking, again, that's purepatriot559@yahoo.com. But once again, want to say thank you to everybody who has entered. Thank you. We got a lot of stuff. We're still missing some components to this whole setup with the new Apple Studio that we have here. And so we want to be able to purchase those items and obviously bills. So you guys help us out. Let's get into it. We told you a minute ago, take a listen to this. Chuck Schumer is asked who he voted for in the New York City mayoral race.
Today is election day in New York City. Did you vote for Monty or Cuomo?
Look, I voted, and I look forward to working with the next mayor to help New York City.
He voted for Cuomo. That's why he wouldn't admit it, because he knows the far left, which controls the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party has embraced the socialism, communist ideas. We've seen that, and we have some Democrats pushing back. You even had John Fetterman a couple of days ago. He goes, listen, New York is New York. The Democrat Party has not taken up communism, or, and we know they've been taking up socialism. It's actually been exposed recently. It's been exposed for a while, but recently we're learning that without your tax dollars, if we don't subsidize Obamacare, the prices go through the roof and 15 million people lose health insurance. So, when Democrats, and they have been for that health care for all push, and I'm all for finding an affordable method without the government's involvement and their hands in my medical, um, to make sure that people stay healthy. But again, we also have a good portion of Americans and illegals who feel that they do not have to work and everything should be given to them. Those people, there should be some work requirement if you're able-bodied. And so I thought that was interesting that you had, obviously, Chucky Schumer saying, listen, I voted and I'm going to support whoever goes. Corndog55 is in for the raffle. He says, thanks, Josh and all. Thank you, Corndog55. Appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for the help. I can't believe I mean, we got election day. We got Thanksgiving coming up before we know it, guys. And then it's Christmas, New Year's. Now, I did want to talk about some of I seen some comments, and again, I probably will have more time to go over some of the numbers. But I told you prior that I thought 55 or Prop 50 was going to pass. I told you that. I mean, it was no surprise to me that they shut down the government on purpose. You guys see that? I got to fix that. That's new computers doing some stuff that I've never seen it do. That's Apple for you. So I got to fix that. Let's see. Hey, maybe we like it. Maybe we like it. Interesting. Oh, come on. It should have done an FAFO. Anyways, Karen just gifted 5 subscriptions. Thank you so much, Karen. Corndog55, Dana, and some others received a subscription. Give Karen a big shout out. Our main platform is Rumble. Thank you guys for being on Rumble. We appreciate you. That's where the army works. But I seen some people down and upset. I wasn't shocked by anything, but by any stretch of the imagination. We've covered it pretty extensively, whether it was Virginia, New Jersey. I mean, hell, Virginia elected an attorney general who wished death on his opponent's children. Talking about pissing on their graves and stuff. We're not in normal times, guys. The Democrats use the media to make Trump look, he's a Nazi, he's a bad guy, even though he's doing the best he could do with what Joe Biden handed him. And he's working really hard to do it. He's getting a lot of done. And there was actually some people that spouted out yesterday that call themselves conservatives that I was like, man, whenever anything hits the fan, whenever it doesn't go 100% our way, they're like, oh, well, they could have done this. They could have done this. You know what? We were working with an obstructionist party, the Democrats. We watched the first 4 years. Again, it doesn't matter who you put in there as a Republican. A lot of Republicans are rhinos, and they'll go right along. Well, Democrats want this, so we'll just agree to that. We're not playing that, and we're going to get into some of that. How about this? This was last night. Probably about my time would have been about 7:15. It says 45 minutes before the California polls close. So if it was 7:15, it was 10:15 over on the East Coast. And I want you to listen to, once again, even Democrats are being called out on CNN about the Republican shutdown. Republicans didn't shut down anything. They passed a clean CR to fund the government like it's been funded since March so they could get down, talk business, and negotiate on things like the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare. And Democrats said, nope, we're holding the American people hostage. Listen to this one on CNN. And I want to see if you notice something when we play this video.
What is your response to what President Trump had to say there, saying that the reason that Democrats had such a good night is because A, he wasn't on the ballot, and B, the government shutdown?
Well, Donald Trump and Republicans shut the government down and refused to reopen it. Donald Trump has spent the last 35 days more time on the golf course, more time talking to Hamas, and more time talking to the Chinese Communist Party than to Democrats on Capitol Hill who represent half the country.
Mr. Leader, you guys are voting no on opening the government, not Republicans. I know you're asking for specific things, and it's much more complicated than that. We'll get to that in 1 second.
No, who represent half the country.
Mr. Leader, you guys are voting no on opening the government, not Republicans. I know you're asking for specific things, and it's much more complicated than that. We'll get to that in 1 second.
Hold on a second, Dana, because let's just be clear about that.
Okay.
American people clearly understand who's responsible for shutting down the government.
Yeah, but you said they shut down the government.
They did shut down the government. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And Donald Trump has spent the last few days saying to Republicans in the Senate, you have the power to reopen the government. They refuse to do it.
I want to talk about tonight.
No, that's actually not what happened, Dollar Store Obama. That's not what happened at all. What happened is what I said before I played the clip. Was Democrats passed a clean CR, very similar to what our Republicans passed a clean CR. Democrats did that 13 times under Joe Biden, and Republicans didn't take the American people as hostage. Doesn't matter if you control the White House, the Senate, the Congress. It really don't matter because you need 60 votes for now. And I think we should shove this all back in our face. We have some clip from Donald Trump talking about doing the nuclear option. And I think it's the only option right now. With Prop 50 passing, we might only have another year left to get everything we need done. Because the first thing, if Democrats take power in 2026, is impeach Trump. Impeach Trump. Take away all his abilities to do everything. Take away funding for this. Take away funding for that. And it's a real possibility. And I hate to say it. It's just like I said with California. I'm going to laugh as it crumbles. I live in California. If all those people that voted for Trump stepped up and voted no on Prop 50, we would have smashed the vote. It wouldn't even have been close. And yeah, I can blame the horrible GOP in California. I can blame a lot of people. But in all reality, if you care about this country and you care about everything going on, you need to be engaged. You need to be doing this. And that's just my take. But I love the fact that CNN's like, no. You shut down the government. You, Democrats, refuse to open the government. And this is another CNN clip from last night. This had Scott Jennings. And you have to ask yourself, if you look at who has emerged as Democrat Party leaders, it's embarrassing. AOC, Ghetto Jasmine Crockett, and now they have one true leader that all those people are supporting, and that's Mamdani. He is the face of the Democrat Party now. As much as people want to back off, and especially in the not deep blue states, and you have Democrats that are like, well, I don't know about all that. They're just scared because they know what's to come. Listen to this one.
I wouldn't overread it. Virginia, in particular, has never been a great bellwether. I don't think a lot of folks had a lot of confidence in the Virginia campaign that was run on the Republican side. And New Jersey is New Jersey. So I would hesitate to overread it. I don't think the concerns you raised are illegitimate political strategy concerns. I think I just want to offer condolences to Chuck Schumer. Honestly, what I'm reading here in New York City is that AOC is going to be the next senator from New York after she gets done whooping his rear end in the 2028 Democratic primary. And for his Senate races in 2026, I see the energy in the Democratic Party tonight behind a socialist, and I see the energy in Virginia, Democrats looking the other way on a violent candidate for attorney general who says he wants to murder Republicans and their children. If you think you're getting rid of Graham Plattner in Maine now, think again. This is a terrible night for national Democratic image, given what is happening inside their party. Mamdani is an avowed socialist. It's not what people say that he is. It's what he says that he is. He's now the leader of their party. That's their energy. And Chuck Schumer's
He's the leader of the Democratic Party?
Let's swear.
There is no, who is the leader? Can someone tell me?
He's a life raft for Republicans who have to go on TV and get their asses kicked today.
You own this now. You all own this now.
We've had progressive mayors that I don't think anybody thought that.
I think Scott Jennings said that beautifully. Who is okay, if he's not the leader, who is your leader? It's not Hakeem Jeffries. It's not Chuck Schumer. They're bowing down to the far left. They're bowing down to the far left. And Melissa got in for 10 entries. Thank you so much, Melissa. And then last night while we were live, we had Michael get in for 2. And Microtaz also got 4 tickets, and she gave those to Mom X Swift is in for 1. Renee O, Nola, and Chris Goff. I'm going to have to get used to it. I got to figure out how to change this. Kind of funny, huh? So big shout out to Microtaz for gifting some subscriptions or some donations so that they get entered into a raffle. See what else we got here. Here's another one. The story for tonight is actually that the Socialist Party is taking over the Democrat Party. I think the Democrat Party has been socialists, if you look at it. So what do socialists do? Oh, come in, open borders, and then when you get here, we're going to take from the workers and give to the non-workers. Your hotel, your food, your health care is going to be covered by these people, these evil American citizens that were born in this country. Take a listen.
Home, and if you guess what you rent, it's going to be passed on to you in the form of your rent. Yeah. Mandates. Look, the story for tonight is actually that the Socialist Party is taking over the Democrat Party, and you know what? It was Andrew Cuomo. It was Kathy Hochul. It were the Democrats that were so afraid of their shadows, so afraid of the radical left. People like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez kept moving to satisfy them, and now they've been eaten alive. So this is a lesson for the Democrat Party. They should have fought for their party. They never fought for their party. They catered to the radical left. And now we're going to see, by the way, for people who think that they're voting for affordability here with Mamdani, a guy who believes in socialism, we're going to learn the hard way in New York City what socialism is. Your taxes will go up. And if you pay property taxes, you won't be able to afford to live in your home. And if you guess what you rent, it's going to be passed on to you in the form of your rent. Yeah. Mandates. Look, mandates, fees, regulations, surcharges. We've seen it in this state, in this city under one-party rule for the last decade. It costs money. It gets passed on to you. So if you think you're going to get a free ride with Mamdani, you're going to learn the hard way.
That's why the answer to
the story for tonight is actually
you're going to learn the hard way. And again, it's going to, I told you guys last night during the live stream, what they'll do is everybody in New York, you're going to have a lot of people with a lot of money leaving New York. They're not going to want to pay those taxes. They've worked hard. They're investors. They're different. They're business owners. They're going to say, I'm going to move somewhere where, I'm not. What was it we covered yesterday? It was Joe Manchin talking about why West Virginia, where's their Democrat Party? Because he was a Democrat. And he says Democrats in West Virginia got tired of working so hard and giving it to their money to a Democrat Party who just handed it out to those who don't work. Once again, we've been in socialism for a while. This is the move to absolute communism. And you can go look back at history. You can always ask
that the Socialist Party is taking
supporters, the RevComs. Name a place where communism works, and they'll try to, nope, it hasn't worked. Go there. You're in the United States. If communism worked, you would be in that communist country. That's a promise. And then in his acceptance, in Mamdani's acceptance speech, He literally quotes word for word communist Eugene Debs in his victory speech saying, "I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity." That is a quote. Somebody actually ask AI about that. Take a listen to this.
I can see the city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity. For as long as we can
He's literally, he didn't just put it in his speech. He quoted Eugene Debs and gave that person credit. Yeah. So, we had Donald Trump speak today. He was meeting with the Republicans this morning. I want to play a couple things. We got a couple clips from him, but listen to what he said here.
We're going to talk about that, and I'll say a few remarks, and then after.
And if you guys have noticed something, there hasn't been one video with the circle. There's been no buffering. It's all bun smooth. This is our first pilot run. It's not complete. Again, we got a lot of stuff we got to buy over the next couple weeks to get it functioning perfect. But how do you like that? No playing a video for 4 seconds and then white circle. So that's exciting for me. It's exciting. That's one frustration I had to hide from y'all. It used to drive me insane.
And last night, it was, not expected to be a victory. It was very Democrat areas, but I don't think it was good for Republicans. I don't think it was good. I'm not sure it was good for anybody. But we had an interesting evening, and we learned a lot. And we're going to talk about that, and I'll say a few remarks, and then after that, I'll ask the press to leave. The press has been very, very nice to us the last couple of months. They were great to us in terms of the foreign visits with China, Japan, South Korea.
So he says it wasn't a good look for Republicans. And when you see that, the Republican Party, almost not throughout the entire United States, but there's some states where the GOP and the Republican affiliated groups, if you will, they bust ass. I tell you, the one thing, that reason why I stopped going, I used to go to quite a few meetings, local groups and everything else. They like to talk and bitch a lot. I'm not worried about gossip. I'm not worried about this. I am worried about one thing: the problem and how we solve it. And I've been to other meetings and GOPs in other states, and they got a list of things they're working on. They're delegating. They're getting this done. And until we get there, we're going to continue seeing it, at least in California. Listen to what Steve Scalise says while they're having a press conference. And again, this press conference was interrupted. We're going to talk about that. And it's exactly what we said. The shutdown thing. The shutdown was held on until Election Day. And now Democrats want to open the government, it seems like. And when Mark Wayne Mullen said that, Democrats denied it. But the day after Election Day, I'm going to show you some stuff in a minute. It's undeniable. Take a listen to Steve Scalise.
Anybody wait to see what those free buses are going to look like? I'm sure they're going to be incredibly safe and clean when you ride the free buses. Can anybody wait to see what those government-run grocery stores are going to look like? Shelves unstocked, expired food. I'm sure the friendliness of those employees that are government employees at those grocery stores. That's what socialism does. Socialism always overpromises and underdelivers.
He brings up a good point. I'm sure those free buses are going to be safe and clean, because that's what Mamdani promised. He promised government-ran grocery stores. And I think I was watching some, excuse me, I was watching some stuff. Nick Shirley did a couple videos where he was interviewing people in New York, and one of them typical people that would vote for socialism, green hair, extremely overweight, extremely unattractive, somebody you would see at an ICE protest. And also the rent control thing. If you're an investor, so if I buy a house and it's a free country, and if I buy that house down the street, I can see the house. I'm looking out the window, and I pay $400,000 for it, and I want to rent it for $5,000 a month. Part of capitalism is if nobody's willing to pay the $5,000 a month, I go in the hole as the investor. If I want to put it at a competitive price so I can sell it and flip it quickly, that should be my choice as an American. What they don't understand, the reason why we have a housing shortage can be solved overnight. 25 million illegal aliens go home. Deport them. Democrats work with us. They won't. Again, that's their vote. That's their representation. That's their party. But it's been Democrat policies that creates. I mean, California is a prime example, folks. If you go to, what happened? Was it 29,000? I think the numbers actually went up. Gavin Newsom cut 29,000 fast food jobs when he mandated a $20 an hour minimum wage for fast food workers. And that hurts the economy entirely. Because now what you see is a lot of kiosks. You can go into a lot of McDonald's and places where there's only a window about 6 foot by 5 foot with shelves on it. You don't even get to talk to an employee. You go in there, you hit the kiosk, you order, and then they just put it up in the window. And pretty soon, I don't even think they're going to need somebody put up in the window. But that's much more cheaper than paying someone $20 an hour to take orders. Right? I mean, and it costs more than that when you look at all the insurance they have to pay on that employee, all the benefits, if they get benefits, all these different things. That's probably like what, $27.50, $28 an hour is what it's costing McDonald's. Now, there is other opportunities. That's what's great in a capitalist society. My first job, my first mainstream job, after doing construction, I did construction at 14 and a half. I worked for a cement company. And then at 15 and a half, I went to Taco Bell, $4.25 an hour. That was back in 93. And I was there for 4.5 months. And you know why I left? Because Burger King offered me 15 cents more an hour. I was like, hey. And I was only at Burger King for 2 months. Why? Because then I got a job for $6.50. Then it was 10. Then it was 20. Then within 3 years, I was making $42.50 an hour. And minimum wage was only $4.75, making 10 times what minimum wage was. It's possible for anybody. And I get it. I go to places, there's people that don't even look like they can function in the world. But again, Democrat policies lead to communism. These people are voting for a communist because they can't afford rent. They can't afford anything. They've been indoctrinated in schools. And it's just absolutely insane what we're seeing. How about this one? Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. They said, is Mamdani the future of the party? And look at, they refused to answer. Take a listen to this.
And they are their brand of Democrat, if you will, is they are moderate Democrats. I would not typically ask you about a mayor's race in New York, but given what happened last night, I do want to ask you about it. I mean, because it has raised questions about the direction of the Democratic Party going forward for midterms and potentially for presidential candidates in 28. Zohran Mamdani is a Democratic socialist. That is not your brand of politics in the Democratic Party, but has people saying that he is or should be the direction that the party is going. What do you think of his win? And do you think that he is a leader in the Democratic Party?
I think what we're seeing is it's less about what people call themselves and more about what they're focused on. The winner there in the New York mayor's race was unquestionably more focused on people's struggles, on the inability to afford housing, on the inability to pay the bills at the end of the week and at the end of the month. And I think people are less focused right now on even the policy proposals, but what they want is someone committed to trying to address it. And I think you see that across all the races, and that should be a wake-up call, not just to Democrats, but to everybody. People are concerned the American dream is slipping away, and that's a huge threat to the country. We have to believe that if we work hard and we play by the rules, we can get ahead. But I think the people turning out to vote are saying, wait a minute, I'm doing that, and I still can't afford a home or an apartment at the same age that my parents could. I'm worried that the next prescription that I or my children need will put me under. I think that's where the American people are, and there's lots of different ways to speak to that. But now all the winners from last night need to do what Democratic governors do, and that's govern well and get results. Running and winning is great, but we've got to deliver for the American people.
Oh, so you don't want to answer, huh? Well, again, yes, people are struggling because of Democrat policies. I mean, New York was a prime example of a Democrat-run state, a Democrat-run city. They had the invasion going on, and they welcomed everybody there. Oh, we are a welcoming place. And then all of a sudden, they're like, holy cow, they're taking over our hospitals, our hotels, our streets are more trashy than they've ever been. These people are living life of luxury, and our residents are paying for it, and our residents are getting frustrated. Just absolutely insane. Just absolutely insane. Mom Dami did do a press conference this morning. I'm just going to play you a little bit, but he says, my message to ICE, again, he will protect the jihadists more than anybody else. Then it'll be the people that came across into this country illegally. Just take a listen, because again, we know if you come into this country, you're violating our laws. If you come into this country illegally. Oh, let me refresh this one. Let's see.
My message to ICE agents and to everyone across this city is that everyone will be held to the same standard of the law. If you violate the law, you must be held accountable.
So if you violate the law, let's break that down for a minute. You must be held accountable. You must be held accountable. Interesting, right? Because there's people out there violating the law. They came in, they're living here illegally in this country. But he's not talking about those folks. No, he's talking about going after ICE agents. He's going to the federal law enforcement that is cracking down on crime.
And there is sadly a sense that is growing across this country that certain people are allowed to violate that law, whether they be the president or whether they be the agents themselves. And what New Yorkers are looking for is an era of consistency, an era of clarity, an era of conviction. And that is what we will deliver to them. And I am looking forward to having conversations with Mayor Adams and his administration about the work of the transition to ensure that the handover is a seamless one and that it is one that benefits the shared work we all have to deliver for the people who call the city home.
Politics, guys, politics. Elections have consequences. It's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. We get to watch from afar. I know some of you are in the New York area, and I pray for you. But and I'm not hoping it goes bad for you. But maybe we, just like California, maybe there needs to be a vision across the country to see truth, to see, Gavin Newsom, we're the fourth largest economy in the world, and you drive down the street, you probably got a flat tire because of the roads. You try to go to get your groceries, and you're stepping over homeless needles and feces in the ground. A lot of people don't know the truth. We're going to be able to see the truth now, and it'll include New York as well. How about this? A lot of Jewish folks in New York feel unsafe now. You've heard some of the stuff Mom Dami said. Well, how about this? This was a New York Post article. Jewish FDNY fired commissioner hands in resignation morning after anti-Israel Zoran Mamdani elected as New York City mayor. Talk about putting your money where your mouth is. We are going to see the case when we looked at the Biden administration and the people they put into power, the people that they that were unelected, that were running the White House, and we were like, holy cow. How do you put a man in women's clothing ahead of like health and human services? Right? You're going to see that same thing with Mamdani. He's happy these people are turning in their resignation because he's going to put his people up there. You just wait and see. You just wait and see. So after all that, we've talked about Prop 50. Prop 50 passed for what I predicted it. My sister asked me last night, what do you think? And I said, well, looking at the polls I've seen and kind of what I'm going to say, they're going to win by 59 to 64%. I think the number right now is 63.7%. I have to double check. But again, it wasn't a shock. It wasn't a surprise. You have a lot of people that are gimme, gimme, gimme. They don't want to work. They don't want to have to do all this. They just want the rich to pay for their lives. I want that guy over there who's putting in 20 hours a day. He should be buying my food. He should be paying my rent. Well, it's not going to work out like that, and it doesn't work out for long like that. But look at what day after the election, you heard Mark Wayne Mullen say they're waiting till the election to negotiate to open up the government. Just yesterday, they had an opportunity and refused to open up the government for the 14th time. Look at the letter Chuck Schumer sent to Donald Trump. Dear President Trump, we write to demand a bipartisan meeting of legislative leaders to end the GOP shutdown of the federal government and decisively address the Republican healthcare crisis. Democrats stand ready to meet you face to face anytime in any place. Well, let's take a look at this letter. First of all, the GOP is voting to open up the government, Mr. Chucky. You are a scumbag liar. And how about this? To address the Republican healthcare crisis. It's an Obamacare crisis. It's a Democrat. Democrats passed this. They didn't fund it forever. They said, we want it to end at the end of 2025. And now we're finding out people that are paying $400 a month for health insurance could skyrocket to $1,600 a month. Why? Because it's a bloated, unaffordable program like we've been saying since Obama was in office. And Obama said, no, this will continue to cut cost of healthcare. I could pull up all the things that he lied about. And what's worse than anybody? Everybody that didn't want to be on a government-ran healthcare system, your costs went up because you're subsidizing them too, much more than inflation. Everything that conservatives said about this was true. And that wasn't it. Take a listen to this. And we told you, will it be the day after the election that they start making it look like they want to open the government? Democrat Rep. Houlihan just interrupted Speaker Johnson's press conference, shouting that he has an obligation to call Chuck Schumer's and Hakeem Jeffries to discuss the shutdown. You can't make this up. It was scripted. We talked about it. Mark Wayne Mullen called this out, said, I've got inside information that says they are holding off until after the election because with the government shutdown, it fires up their base. They're not getting EBT. They're not getting, government handouts. We're going to scare them on healthcare, and that'll get them to the polls, right? Look at this. This is amazing.
Mr. Jeffries or Mr. Schumer, part of the American people, and I believe that, and you should respect free speech. I'm asking you a question. If you're ready to have a conversation with the other side, you represent.
If you're willing to have a conversation with the other side, if you're willing to have a conversation to the other side, They've passed a clean CR. There's no discussion. They're not going to budge from it. Pass it and negotiate. You're not going to get everything you want. You're not going to get health care for illegals. We're going to cut the SNAP program. It went up 40% under Joe Biden. Nobody's talking about that. But just listen. Just listen.
All of us. You are the speaker for all of us, sir. You have an obligation not just to speak lies to the American people. You have an obligation to call the leadership of both parties and bring us together and solve this problem together, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and ask you.
I'm a member of Congress. I don't know. Yes.
I'm sorry. Can I just?
We went
Of
to the
course.
Senate in front of the Resolute desk.
You're welcome.
We brought Leader Jeffries and Leader Schumer in, and we had a discussion. The president said, please don't shut the government down. It would cause all.
And if you listen to the speaker in the background, Trump didn't want this shutdown. He's asked for the Democrats to open up. He didn't want people to be without SNAP. Certainly, we want to cut the waste, abuse, and fraud. Man, I can't believe how it was. They didn't even wait like 48 hours. Like, let's not make it look like the shutdown was just for the election. No, that first thing in the morning, when are you going to meet with us to discuss this shutdown? President Trump did, by the way, and Democrats started off with a non-starter. Illegal aliens, not going to fund their health care. Not going to give hot money to hospitals that give free health care to illegal aliens. And when the Affordable Care Act, you know, these big bad insurance companies, they don't talk about it. I said this yesterday, the money don't go to me and you. The government doesn't say, okay, Mr. Josh, there's private companies out there. You can go get insurance. Here's your $3,600 premium credit for the year. Go out there, shop for insurance. No. They give billions of dollars to the insurance company and let them decide. You just can't make this up. President Trump just told every Republican senator to their faces they must end the filibuster or nothing will be passed for 3 years. And listen to what he says.
Extension. And John, I think they've done an extension every single time they've ever been asked forever. It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3.25. We have 3.25 years, so that's a long time. But when they can't do an extension, and John, I think they've done an extension every single time they've ever been asked forever. This is the first time they haven't done an extension. Extensions are supposed to be easy, but if they won't do an extension, they won't do any bill, even a simple bill. And we should do our own bills. We should get out. We should do our own bills. We should open up. We should start tonight with the country's open. Congratulations. Then we should pass voter ID. We should pass no mail-in voting. We should pass all the things that we want to pass, make our elections secure and safe, because California is a disaster. Many of the states are disasters. But can you imagine when they vote almost unanimously against voter ID? All we want is voter ID. You go to a grocery store, you have to give ID. You go to a gas station, you give ID. But for voting, they want no voter ID. That's only for one reason, because they cheat. We would pass that in 15 minutes. If you don't get it, you'll never pass that. You'll never talk about mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots make it automatically corrupt. If you have mail-in ballots, automatically it's correct. Even Jimmy Carter, they had the Carter Commission after he got out of office, and he had a group of very distinguished people, Democrats and Republicans, and they passed, they recommended things take place. It was a long time ago. And they said about mail-in ballots, if there is mail-in ballots, there will definitely be corruption, because, you know, they pass through too many hands. I mean, you go in to vote and they want you cut.
So I couldn't. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of exposing going on. All those people that were holding that MAGA flag in Congress and in the Senate. Oh, we support Trump 100%. Now the rubber's got to meet the road. And they got to do something that is critical for this country. And watch them not do it. This could be a big turning point in President Trump's this 4 years. And I'm telling you, we'll do a call to action, but your senators, give them a call, tell them to end the filibuster, make those phone calls in between these shows. They need to end the filibuster. They need to do what's right for the American people. Because all it's going to be is obstruction. I mean, Democrats have shut down the government. We have flights grounded. We have people not getting food that they need. And there is people out there that actually need the money they get from EBT. Not everybody's fraudulent, especially after we had some of the highest inflation we've ever seen under Joe Biden. Those prices haven't went down yet. And every time Trump tries to enact something to do it, they block him, sue him, delay him, because they don't want his policies to work. They need his policies not to be in effect, because then at midterms, they can say, look, and he hasn't done anything, even though he has. But you've obstructed him. You've delayed the implementation of this stuff. And
time for Republicans to do what they have to do.
We gotta grow a spine. We gotta grow a spine. By the way, guys, do not forget, today is the last day. We are doing the raffle in the next show. So if you're not in right now, let me show you. We got this beautiful thing that will be shipped out tomorrow. We'll do a drawing later today. And then we have the light up MAGA hat. It looked great last night. And Trump. So we got MAGA and Trump light up hats. As you can see, it's kind of hard to see here. Let's see. So if you guys want your chance, we're going to be picking a winner. And if you guys want to get in, the way to do it is every $10 donation gets you one entry. If you do $30, that's 3 entries. And again, this drawing is going to be in about 4 hours. So make sure you get in. You can use Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $Oreo Army, givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. And then if you do Zelle, mobile online banking, and you want to do a Zelle transfer, our Zelle address is Pure Patriot 559@yahoo.com. That's PURE Patriot 559@yahoo.com. Good luck to everybody that enters. And thank you so much for helping us out and keeping us going. What else is this? Again, and he spoke about mail-in ballots. The reason why Democrats want mail-in ballots is because the ballot harvesting and people that are too lazy to get off their ass. It ain't for the disabled and all those people. No, you know how many people that would never take the 2 hours out of the day to go vote, but because it's mailed to them and someone knocks on their door and they say, fill that out. Trump's evil. And they fill it out and they collect it. You should have to put effort into voting, bottom line. I was able to do it since I've been 18. I voted in every election in person. Just in, President Trump is about to have a closed-door discussion with Republican senators after the press leaves the room about what to do next.
And that was a big factor. And
we played this earlier.
But I thought we'd have a discussion after the press leaves about what last night represented and what we should do about it, and also about the shutdown and how that relates to last night. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans, and that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor, but I don't know about that, but I was honored that they said that. And I just want to thank everybody for being.
So press leave the room, and then he's already left this meeting. But once again, Daddy's laying out the law. This is the way it should be. I mean, he received a mandate when he was elected. Last night meant nothing. So I want to play you right now. I don't know if it's over yet, but the Supreme Court's hearing oral arguments on Trump's tariffs. And from what I heard, it didn't sound too good. There was even some stupidity, like confusion on the part of the person, the DEIs, the people that got the job that can't describe what a woman is, but because of the color of their skin, they were nominated for Supreme Court justice and confirmed. But listen to this one right here. This is Neil Gorsuch.
Powered.
Hold on. Take this listen right here. Let me get this set up. So much easier.
It's a major question though. Could the president impose a 50% tariff on gas-powered cars and auto parts to deal with the unusual and extraordinary threat from abroad of climate change?
It's very likely that could be done. That's very likely.
I think that has to be the logic of your view.
Yeah, in other words, obviously this administration would say that's a hoax, it's not a real crisis, but...
I'm sure you would.
Yes, but that would be a question for Congress under our interpretation, not for the courts.
All right. And then, it's a major question though. Could the president impose a 50...
Could the president impose a 50% tariff on gas-powered vehicles and parts for those vehicles because of the existential threat of climate change? My gosh, where are we? How about this one? This is DEI Katanya Brown Jackson, kind of embarrassing herself. We've covered these oral arguments, and she embarrasses herself quite frequently in these. And listen to this exchange back and forth, where she's completely wrong.
Did any president under TWIA use that language to impose tariffs?
Well, yes, President Nixon's 1971 tariff.
Not a tariff. That wasn't a tariff. It was a licensing agreement during wartime. It was a specific thing. A tariff I'm talking about.
I'm referring to President Nixon's 1971 tariff.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Yes, I thought you meant Lincoln.
Not only that, but then it was upheld by the Court of Appeals with exclusive jurisdiction under this very phrase.
Can I back you up just a second? I'm sorry. You're talking so quickly.
Sorry.
Yeah, slow down. I can't understand you. And yeah, I was wrong again. I should just close my mouth and open my ears so I can actually hear the oral arguments. How about this? It says that the U.S. Supreme Court appears very skeptical of President Trump's emergency tariff powers, setting the stage for striking them down. And listen to what Gorsuch says and
words.
Kavanaugh. Listen.
I think you're saying that no, the president doesn't have inherent authority over tariffs in peacetime.
Absolutely. That is, we do not assert that. We say that Congress can delegate that to him, and when Congress does so, as it does when it uses the phrase regulate importation.
I follow all of that. Okay. You emphasize that Congress can always take back its powers. You mentioned that a couple of times. But don't we have a serious retrieval problem here? Because once Congress delegates by a bare majority and the president signs it, and of course every president will sign a law that gives him more authority, Congress can't take that back without a supermajority. And even then, it's going to be veto proof. What president's ever going to give that power back? Pretty rare president. So how should that inform our view of delegations and major questions?
I would look at the balance that Congress struck, because what Congress did initially, it had a two-house legislative veto.
And we struck that down.
And then Congress went back to the statute and amended it. Yep. It took out the legislative veto and left in the joint resolution, but still left the president with all those powers.
That's what Congress did?
Yes.
Fair enough. As a practical matter, in the real world, it can never get that power back.
I disagree, because in January 2023, Congress voted to terminate one of the biggest IEPA emergencies ever, the COVID emergency, and the president went along with that. So what the statute reflects is there's going to be the ability for a sort of political consensus against a declared emergency.
Well, what happens when the president simply vetoes legislation to try to take these powers back?
Well, he has the authority to veto legislation to terminate a national emergency, for example. I mean, he retains the powers in the background because IEPA is still on the books. But if he declares an emergency and Congress doesn't like it and passes a joint resolution, yes, he can absolutely veto that.
Yeah, so Congress, as a practical matter, can't get this power back once it's handed it over to the president. It's a one-way ratchet toward the gradual but continual accretion of power in the executive branch and away from the people's elected representatives.
I disagree with that, and the recent historical counterexample of Congress's termination of the COVID emergency demonstrates that the political oversight
with the president's assent
is meaningful.
So, you know, I remember I covered a thing when our country was founded, when we had this whole thing with a president, we were going to have Congress and different representatives. They call it co-equal branches of government. But if you go back to some of the writers, they wanted, again, what's going on with Trump, they didn't want it to be like that. The people elected Trump. They wanted his policies to go, not be obstructed. It was much different when they talked about co-equal branches of government. It was laws, it was protections, it was other things of that nature. But as a president, they wanted the president to put in his agenda and be able to do it. And right here, like you listen to that here, it sounds kind of like at least Gorsuch is going to terminate this, are going to go against this. I don't know what others would do. Listen to Justice Barrett, Amy Coney Barrett. Take a listen to this.
General Sauer, can I just ask you a question? Can you point to any other place in the code or any other time in history where that phrase, together, regulate importation, has been used to confer tariff-imposing authority?
Well, as to regulate importation, that was held in TWIA. So obviously, and that's...
Okay, so an intermediate appellate court held it in TWIA, but you just told Justice Kavanaugh that wasn't your lead argument, that your lead argument was this long history of the phrase regulate importation being understood to include tariff authority. So my question is, has there ever been another instance in which a statute has used that language to confer the power? Well, putting aside Yoshida.
I mean, obviously, other statutory example is just imports. The cases we rely on are cases where, for example, in Gibbons, it's Ogden and Justice Story's
But that just shows the word can be used that way. None of those cases talked about it as conferring tariff authority. I understood you to be citing McGoldrick and Gibbons in those cases just to show that it's possible to say that regulating commerce includes the power to tariff.
I think our argument goes a bit further than that as an interpretive matter, because if you look at that history, the history of delegations...
Could you just answer the justice's question?
Listen to that.
Can you identify any statute that used that phrase to confer tariff?
Yeah, the only two statutes I can identify now are TWIA, as interpreted in Yoshida, and then closely related, not regulate importation, but adjust imports in section 232.
Well, I think adjust imports is differently. So the answer is the contested application in TWIA, and then now in IEPA.
And then, of course, I mean, there's a sort of direct line there.
Yeah, I understand that, but yes. Okay.
But then more fundamentally, we rely on the historical sources to show there's this long historical pedigree of broad delegations of the foreign commerce power, not the power to tax that we're not asserting here, delegations of the foreign commerce power to the president, going back to Gibbons against Ogden, all the way through McGoldrick and Board of Trustees, where this court and founding era sources say the power to, in other words, the power to tariff is kind of this natural, as everyone knows, that includes...
Just ask you one other question about the plain text, General Sauer. So you've referred to the other verbs in IEPA as capacious. Would you really describe them as capacious? Because to me, things like nullify and void have definite meanings. I agree with you that regulate is a broader term, but those words I think are powerful. They pack a punch, but I wouldn't describe them as capacious in the sense that they have a wide range of meaning. So can you describe what you mean by capacious?
Let me put it this way. You look at all 9 verbs together, and you're looking at a spectrum of powers from the most sort of negative,
So you guys get an idea of how this is going. There was another one that kind of concerns me when Justice Barrett asked about refunding tariff revenue. So all the money we've taken in through tariffs to help pay off our national debt, how do we refund that money? That's scary. But one other thing I want to say in here, Gandalf is in the house. And he said, thank you for the prayers. They went through surgery. Let's see. I made it through my surgery and the outcome is good. Thank you for all the prayers. We were talking about you. We were definitely praying for you while you were in surgery. So glad everything went well. God is good, and hopefully your recovery is very mellow and make sure you rest and take care of yourself. But that's great to know. That's great to know. Thank you for updating us. Thank you. Here's the part where Justice Barrett asks about refunding the money that we've already got off tariffs. That is insane.
And then if you win, tell me how the reimbursement process would work. Would it be a complete mess? I mean, you're saying before the government promised reimbursement, and now you're saying, oh, well, that's rich. But how would this work? It seems to me like it could be a mess.
So the first thing I'd say is that just underscores just how major a question this is. The very fact that you were dealing with this with quotas, there's no refund process to the tunes of billions of dollars or embargoes, but there is here. But for our case, the way it would work is, in this case, the government stipulated for the 5 plaintiffs that they would get the refunds. So for us, that's how it would work. Your question, I take it, is about everyone else. We don't have a class action or anything like that. With respect to everyone else, there's a whole specialized body of trade law, and it's in 19 U.S.C. 1514 outlines all these administrative procedures. It's a very complicated thing. There's got to be an administrative protest. There was a harbor management case earlier that this court was involved with in the United States Shoe, in which the refund process took a long time. There were any number of claims and equitable relief.
So a mess.
So it's difficult,
Okay.
Absolutely. We don't deny that it's difficult, but I think what this court has said in the McKesson case in 1990 is that serious economic dislocation isn't a reason to do something. Northern Pipeline, you guys stayed your decision.
So their attorney is actually admitting right there. Listen to what he says right there.
Isn't a reason to do something. North case in 1990 is that serious economic dislocation is
serious economic dislocation. They know that if they end Trump's tariff, it's going to hurt the economy substantially. That's their words, not mine. This is why they want to do it, guys. This is why Democrats are fighting so hard against this. Oh, well, this has went up. Let's see. The only thing I think we can agree that's went up is coffee and a few imports like baby car seats and high chairs from China. Now, we haven't had a whole lot go down. I mean, gas is down substantially. You do have some commodity prices down. I gotta move my hand. Things getting annoying. But once again, they admit it. They admit it. What is today? The 5th. I'm gonna make sure I have this up here. So just incredible what we are seeing right now, guys. Just incredible. We're going to be bringing you a whole nother show with all the updates, talking heads, everything else that's going on today after the election yesterday, things that are uprooting themselves in the world. I'm sure I think it'll be interesting. I'm sure I'll have more Democrats saying, we just want to meet with Republicans the day after the election. They hadn't been saying that. They've been called out. We all know this is a Democrat Chuck Schumer shutdown. They could have passed this. And even Donald Trump said shutdown played into some of this. And that's what Democrats were using it for. So we will be live again in about 3.5 hours, 3 hours, 37 minutes, I believe. Don't forget, we have this beautiful cross and a light up hat. You're going to get either that cross and either the Trump light up hat or the MAGA light up hat will be yours. If you guys want to get in, again, we're doing the raffle in the next show. So get in now. Get in while the getting's good. Every $10 donation gets you 1 entry. If you do $30, that's 3 entries, guys. $50, that's 5 entries. Thank you to everybody that joined in during this stream. If you guys, once again, want to get in, all our donation links will be coming up at the end. And we have Venmo, Cash App, Give, Send, Go. And if you have, you do mobile or online banking, we accept the transfers through the Zelle as well. So we will see you guys here again in 3.5 hours. Want to say thank you for everybody tuning in. And those donation links are coming up right now on the screen. Make sure you get in before you miss your chance on that cross. Thank you, guys.
The Oreo Express, where truth don't hide and we don't second guess. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud, shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo Express, rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of the